What happens when you give young women a platform to shape the global conversation? Today, Phoebe Saintilan-Stocks shares how she built Missing Perspectives, a media brand and tech platform amplifying underrepresented voices around the world. How has she managed to build a media brand amid the industry's toughest times? How does her tech platform serve the brand's vision? And how does she survive managing multiple endeavours, including a new book she has coming out, while building a unique media ecosystem? Welcome to the Anti-Work Podcast, a podcast where we chat to founders and professionals about staying sane while building a business. It's brought to you by Recess, a sustainable Aussie office furniture brand that's all about making work feel more like play. I'm Alessandra, and I'm your host. Thank you so much, Phoebe, for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm really excited to dive into everything about your career and Missing Perspectives. Now, because here at Recess, we try to make work feel more like play. So we like to kick it off with some fun little icebreaker questions just to lighten the mood and get ready to get into the podcast zone. I would love to know what your favorite recess snack was at school.
Oh my God. I would say this is niche, but the Dunkaroo. Yeah. I don't know if you had that, but I'm also what happened to it?
Everyone, you're the fourth person on this podcast to bring up Dunkaroos.
Wait, are you...
I'm serious. Yeah.
Because I was they also had the strawberry one. That, definitely the best, but also a fruit roll-up. Loved a fruit roll-up. Yeah, although they're banned now, so.
They're different. They're not the same. Are you a morning or night person? When's your peak play?
Absolutely morning.
Yeah.
I cannot do anything substantive at work past 4 p.m. That's why I didn't survive in corporate law. I do my best work between 7 to 10 a.m.
Wow.
And I'll prioritize how I work, but do the more important things at the top of the day.
Yeah.
That might be normal. But I'm also asleep by 9 p.m.
Yeah. Fair.
I love my Oura ring and compare sleep scores every day with my...
Yeah, I love that. Are you a minimalist desk person or a maximalist?
I would say I'm definitely a maximalist. My desk looks very messy, but I know where every single thing is on there for a reason. And I know where everything is. Yeah. But my desk where I work from home, my partner's always it's at the front of the house. Can you clean it or bin it? But I'm everything on there is legit.
Yeah.
I can't actually take anything off.
It's organized chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah. You still know where everything's supposed to be. Yeah. Well, let's dive into the basics and kind of a bit more about your career, the business, and sort of how you ended up where you are.
Yeah.
So for those who might not be familiar, can you tell us about Missing Perspectives and the mission behind it?
It's funny because I still don't have an elevator pitch, which
fair.
I'm 4 years and I should probably make one up. But in a nutshell, we're a women's media company platforming young female storytelling. So we started out just with opinion pieces from reporters, but now we've kind of expanded into TV. We have a women's sports show on Fox and KO and do a bunch of other things. We've even published fiction before. So, and we work a lot with creators too. So I guess we've kind of expanded, but our North Star is being a media company platforming female storytelling.
Yeah. What was the moment that inspired you to start it? Was there a particular story or something that sparked the idea?
It's hard to put my finger on it, but when I thought of the idea, I was living in Canberra working in government. And at the time I was working in Canberra, I was living with the young female political correspondent who was in the press gallery at Parliament House for Channel 7. And I think I must have come out of conversations with her about her experience as a young woman working in a commercial newsroom. And then I was a young woman working in politics at a time when, we had Scott Morrison as PM. We had people like Britt Higgins coming out. So I think there was a big movement at the time and young women wanted to be heard. And I guess I'm kind of naive. I never worked in media. And I'm you know what? I'll just make a blog called Missing Perspectives that platforms stories from young women around the world. And so I just bought the Squarespace website and it started from there and they just kind of snowballed. And I guess our turning point was when we partnered with Hello Sunshine and Reese Witherspoon did an Insta post about us. And I'm like, that's when we started work on it full time.
That's cool. What kind of gap did you see in the industry that you wanted to address? Was there something specific?
It was that women continue to be underrepresented in the news industry. Like the stats are pretty crazy and they continue, like they aren't really changing either. And I think in Australia, even in like political journalism, it's like 80% of opinion pieces are still written by men. And so we were really going out to try and change that.
So, Missing Perspectives isn't just a media brand. You also have an app. Can you tell us a little bit about the app and how that fits into the brand?
Yeah. So essentially what was happening was we would get a lot of emails from media companies like the Sydney Morning Herald or like Marie Claire, for example, who would be like, can you put us in touch with a female reporter in Afghanistan? Or like, can someone on your team write an article for us about going on the pill and stuff like that? So we were partnering with Google at the time, and we kind of pitched to them an app that could connect, kind of like a marketplace between female reporters and content creators and newsrooms and media companies and brands. And Google came on board and we built that. And at the moment, like we have around 500 reporters who are piloting it and 5 newsrooms who we're getting feedback from. And then we're looking to do like a formal launch next year. Yeah. But I've learned like you can only have one focus at each time.
Yeah.
And when we launched the app, I think it could have been like a little too early because we just had so much going on. So yeah, at the moment we're just like taking our time piloting it, and then we'll probably formally launch it next year.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's really, really, really interesting. Did you always, and I know you said like prior to starting Missing Perspectives, you didn't necessarily work in media. Did you always like growing up like think that you like, did you see yourself ending up in the media space or starting something? Or did it kind of just like happen?
My dream throughout the whole of high school was to be Amal Clooney.
Okay.
So all I wanted to be was an international like human rights lawyer.
Yeah.
But what's really funny, and that's why I always say like I always just fell into media accidentally, but I've always loved reading the news. I've always loved media. And I found the other day in my year 6 yearbook, and I was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I wrote like a newsreader.
Yeah.
So I must have back then really wanted to work in news and media. But yeah, my dream was to be a lawyer, which is kind of sad.
I mean, everyone has their own dreams.
Everyone has their own dream.
And was she your like childhood inspo?
Literally. From like year 7, I would say. And I got to meet her. I'm like, not properly, but when I was in New York one time and I like actually cried. I'm like, probably like no one else cares about her. Like maybe it's just me.
I feel like when she came like onto the scene, like when
officially with George Clooney.
When they got married, it was like a big deal.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, wow, like girl boss. Even though like, I feel like that term has
girl boss. Yeah.
It's like dead. It's a bit dead. It's not really like, it's like 1 step forward, 2 steps back.
But
kind of vibe.
That's
but like,
so true.
But like at the time.
At the time she was girl boss. Yeah.
At like 2012.
Legit.
Yeah. Well, so in addition, obviously, to building this like big media company, maybe becoming your own kind of Amal Clooney in your own right.
Oh.
You've also launched the app, but you also have been working on a book.
Yes.
Called The Right Hand.
Yes.
Can you tell us about the book?
It's coming out in November, which is very soon. The book in a nutshell is a series of conversations with the chiefs of staff and the best friends of some of the most powerful people of the 21st century. And how it started was one day we got a follower on our Missing Perspectives Instagram, and she was Justin Trudeau's longtime chief of staff. Like she had worked with him and been his right hand for like over a decade. And so I jumped on a few calls with her, and it just got me thinking, it's just so funny the way they talk about their boss because they know them better than anyone.
Yeah.
And I just thought it would be a really cool series to do as a podcast. So I made a podcast series, and then a friend was like, you should do it as a book first. So the book is coming out and then the podcast is coming out. And that's the vibe.
That's so cool.
But no, it's really cool because they all have amazing insights into, because they were there on days like Tony Blair's told me about like the day he got the call that Princess Diana died and like what happened and like working with the royal family and stuff like that doesn't really make the news, like from the people who really lived those moments.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm biased, but
That's
that's really interesting.
That sounds very interesting. And also like such an incredible feat to juggle. Obviously, running Missing Perspectives, building the app, and then also writing a book, right? Like that's pretty full threat. But what inspired you to write this book at this stage in your career? And how did you prioritize your time kind of by also running Missing Perspectives?
I like love writing. Like it's my favorite, probably my favorite part of my job. And so I always knew I wanted to write something. I just never knew what it would be about. And like even with the right hand, I hadn't even thought about it being a book until a friend who was in publishing was like, this would be an amazing book. So, and it was so easy to write. Like it just came very naturally. And because I think so clearly in the morning, I would just do it in the morning before work. Because I remember I heard, I don't know if you know Zoe Foster Blake.
Yeah.
She had a similar thing where she had to write in the morning before the workday started. Because once Missing Perspective starts, like I'm out.
Yeah.
So the tricky bit was like the copy edit stage, which is when like Penguin, my publisher, had gone through and come back to me with edits to make. That was probably the trickiest bit because it required more than like a morning. But I've definitely made changes to the company now just so I can spend some more time writing. Like we have an amazing person starting next week who'll be in a more like GM role. So like if I need to step back because of, podcast or the right hand, I can.
Writing a book is such a different creative process compared to building a media company. Do the two do they overlap? Do they influence each other, or are they really
funny
kind of separate?
Like, I found them very similar because I kind of view the right hand as another little startup in a way because it's kind of building a brand from the ground up, like writing, branding, like producing. I found them that they really complemented each other. Like I thought it would be really different. I think writing fiction would be really different. But I think nonfiction, because like a lot of my job too, I'm interviewing people.
Yeah.
So it felt like a really good fit. And like the podcast for the right hand will sit on Missing Perspectives too, even though it's like a little bit different to our usual stuff. But yeah, it seemed to overlap quite a bit.
Yeah. Did that kind of make it a little bit easier, or having it like blurred?
Kind of.
Like, because I'm curious, like, obviously you're doing this as like just say for like to put it in an umbrella, like you're doing this as kind of like your 9 to 5, you're doing Missing Perspectives, and then you're also writing this book, but you're also
That's
like
my 9 to 5,
but you're also, I guess, like researching and doing the podcast for the right hand, but then also writing the book. Like how, because they're so similar, how do you separate it to like make sure that you don't?
That's where it's been hard. Yeah. And also just like, it's been interesting because through the right hand, I've interviewed so many amazing women. And also women are so underrepresented in the chief of staff space. Like that's why it's been really interesting from a Missing Perspectives point of view.
Yeah.
And we'll probably do some more content on Missing Perspectives about the women. Because like I even interviewed Nelson Mandela's chief of staff, who's like an 85-year-old woman.
That's cool.
I'm like, you need a profile on Missing Perspectives.
Given that this is obviously the anti-work podcast, I really want to talk about boundaries and what do they kind of mean to you as a founder, and do they exist?
It's a good question. I think for me, up until a year ago, I honestly think it takes every founder to like fully burn out until they realize the importance of boundaries. Because at the start of the startup journey for me, I was like saying yes to everything, picking up calls no matter what time it was, like having to show up at every single event, which is still tricky when for your startup to do well, you have to be like visible and present at every single brand event ever. So I think it took me to like I like burnt out. And then from there, I just think I became really good at identifying red flags. And also a learning that I had very late was that you should do self-care things before you burn out. Like it would take me to burn out for me to book like the sauna or like something. So now I like try and integrate that into every week where I can. I'm also lucky because I have a partner who's very much like clocks off after work and he like tries to encourage me to, which I found really hard at the start because when you're in the news industry, if you miss like a news alert, then the faster you are at posting news, the better the content does.
Yeah.
But I think it was just deciding, like, you know, we're not a breaking news company either.
Mm.
So it's fine to clock off.
Yeah.
So I think boundaries for me are like I really don't check notifications after like 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Like including text messages too. Also, being able to say no to events has been a big one.
Mm-hmm.
The broader thing I'm working on is like I am the biggest people pleaser on earth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been a journey because I think part of that has been saying yes to everything because I literally can't say no.
Yeah.
Like if someone emails me, I like have to reply to them, even if it's like a sales email from like a random AI startup in like the other side of the world. I'd be like, thank you so much for emailing me, but like we're not interested. Whereas like most people just don't reply. So I've been working on that.
Yeah.
And what I've learned is that you cannot be a startup founder and a people pleaser at the same time because it will ruin your company.
Interesting. That's
the
an
headline.
interesting take. Yeah, there you go. I guess on that, so like your work obviously being in news, you often deal with like heavy or emotional like global issues and also that pressure as well because it's news. It's like maybe you want to break a story. How do you kind of balance staying engaged while also protecting like your well-being?
With like, I think we as a team, we all really don't do any reporting after hours. So if something happens after hours, we'll just mark it for the next day.
Yeah.
I'd also just know there are other startups like the Daily Oz where it's more in their domain than ours. Like we don't have to be breaking news about certain things.
Yeah.
So I think that's a massive piece. But then obviously there's like really heavy content too. And like our different team members will have different things that they don't really like. If they need a break from editing, then we have other people who can jump in because it can absolutely become an issue. I remember we did a campaign. It was like 15 days for like domestic violence awareness with a partner. And it does like being exposed to content like that can take a toll. So I think splitting it as a team and like looking out for one another is really important.
Yeah. Do you have any like specific strategies to help you switch off?
Honestly, it's just silencing notifications.
Yeah.
Because you forget about it. And I used to like have the worst habits like checking my emails first thing in the morning, like 6:30 when I would wake up. But I just had to break that by disabling notifications. And also just like checking it when I start the workday and not when I'm like still in bed.
Yeah.
But a lot of it's just like so ingrained for doing it for so many years. It's definitely a habit.
Yeah.
Other than that, like I've heard people using like bricks and stuff.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Open to those.
I'm getting a lot of ads for those.
Yeah.
'Cause I always have this fantasy of like getting a flip phone and like
I like that.
even though
Can you still get them?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I've done my research. You definitely can. But like, even though I work in marketing and I work in social media, so it's like I need to actually be online to do my job.
That's the
But I have thought of like getting a burner phone, getting like the flip phone, and like only my friends and my family, important people have that number.
Yeah.
And that's like the rest I can just like put away.
That's so funny.
And then like on the weekends I have a flip phone.
But it's like we've got an amazing social producer on our team who like loves being chronically online. Like she gets so much joy out of that.
Yeah.
And she'll like DM or text me at like on a Sunday afternoon. I have to be like, Ali, like it's the week.
Yeah.
But she just like, I think she just loves internet culture.
Yeah. I mean, like me too. But I think like maybe this is because I'm like almost 30. I'm like, when I was like 22, I was like, yeah, I love the internet. Like, give me more, you know? Like,
Omegle.
Literally.
Bring back that era.
And now I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I can feel like the worms in my brain.
Oh, shit.
You know? Even though I love TikTok. But still, there's like part of it.
It's funny because like TikTok is my one app where I have boundaries. Like I am very disciplined with TikTok. Like I can be like, I'm only going on for 5 minutes and then I'm done.
That's amazing.
Whereas Instagram is the one that I just end up on there.
See, I don't spend much time on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm on TikTok.
You're
just
on
like doing.
I mean, Twitter is sadly my most used app.
Well,
like I
that
don't
makes sense,
tweet
though.
anything. I just laugh at.
Yeah. And also since I think they integrated like the app more like personalized feed and also
post Elon.
Yeah. Well, you know, don't people say like Twitter is like the modern day newspaper?
Yeah. I think
X,
it's gone
actually.
a little right wing.
Yeah, it has. But I guess, well, on that note of like social media, given that you're fairly like public facing, especially now with your book about to come out, do you feel like a lot of your business is tied to your identity or do you also like feel this pressure to show up online because everything's sort of so interconnected?
I like made a deliberate decision with Missing Perspectives to not be the face of it and like stay very much behind the scenes, because I think because of the nature of the company and the mission, you can't have someone like, the whole point of it is platforming reporters and creators and like their stories, which I think has its pros and cons. But I think what has been interesting is with the book, like that's obviously me as the face of it. And that's why I think I'm really nervous for it to come out, because you get like the criticism stuff that like I haven't been exposed to through the company, because like it's Missing Perspectives as a company, not me really as the felt. Like a lot of people who follow Missing Perspectives wouldn't know who I am. So that's why the book has been an interesting experience, because like November will be interesting because like, yeah, my partner keeps being like, you need to start going to therapy now to prepare for like bad reviews.
Oh,
I'm like, that's so fair, because like knowing me, I'm going to read like every single one. So yeah, to answer your question, yeah, Missing Perspectives has never been linked to me. But like there are other team members who were definitely more public than I had been.
Well, I think that's gearing yourself up for like, I think also it's like in these spaces, like it's really important to know yourself and know how you will react. And like prepare for that reaction. In a way. Like if you know
I think I'm just not going to read what people say.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, you can get someone else to like filter it for you.
Get someone to just send me good ones.
Send you the good ones. Yeah, which like totally has its place.
It's funny. Like we had our podcast at Missing Perspectives and I had to like fill in 1 week and interview an author. And this guy called Peter left a review just being like, Phoebe spoke way too much. And I like literally thought about that comment for like months after.
Yeah, keeps you up.
But I'm like, who cares? At least Peter listened.
Well, there you go. Well, that goes really nicely into my next question, actually. So when things don't go right in business, and often they don't, how do you kind of protect your mental health in the fallout there? Do you have any unhinged tips for staying sane while building?
There's the one that's like, we're not saving lives, like at the end of the day. But I used to have this really unhealthy habit of like, if we sent a brand a pitch or like applied for a grant, it would consume me. And like every week I'd be like counting down to like when they said they'd get back. But I think now we have an approach where we just sent it out, poke in like 2 weeks, but it's not like consuming me. And I think that has helped mentally, because like when we used to get ghosted or rejections, it would like, I would take it so personally because it would have just consumed me for the last like 2 or however many weeks. So I think just like, particularly with partnerships and sales, like when you're pitching, just like not making it so tied to like, not making it so personal. That would be a massive one. And then the other tip was, my sister told me this, just have a Post-it note on your computer that just says, oh, well. So like if something happens or like you have a conversation that tanks, it's just like, oh, well.
Yeah.
But it's hard because like being a founder of a startup is scary because it's so volatile too.
Yeah.
So there's certain things that just come with being a founder that you just have to learn to be comfortable with, that like some tactics can't really prepare you for. Like it's definitely a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And like a Post-it note saying, oh, well, doesn't really help you that much.
Fair. Because this brand, and obviously now also that you're about to release your book, so much of that, I guess, your work is sort of tied to your identity. Do you have any like additional hobbies or other things that you do that like really allow you to kind of take yourself out of that identity?
I have a really cute dog.
Yeah. Cute.
And like, does he count as a hobby? He's like my child. Because I don't have kids, but like having a dependent where you like, I need to walk him like twice a day because he's like very energetic. Hobbies, like it freaks me out when people ask if I have hobbies because I'm like, I don't think I do. I'm like, I love reading.
That's a hobby.
But like my partner, he like plays like paddle and pickleball and like actually has hobbies. But I'm like, I don't think I do.
Yeah.
Love the beach.
Yeah. That's
love traveling.
Yeah.
I just went to Africa for 2 weeks, which was amazing. And like I hadn't taken a holiday in like 2 years. So it was good to start doing stuff like that again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
Probably the saddest thing I've ever said, but
No, but I think like this is the other thing, and like I wonder if it's also just because of like social media and everyone now like sharing their life, and you kind of have this idea that you need to be doing all of these different things, and I think that like sometimes it's like that myth of like you can do it all, which you kind of like can do what you want, but can you do it all? That's probably like
And
maybe.
also like linked to that, what I've learned is like when I take time, like I used to work all weekend, but like if I have the weekend off and like clock off after work, I'm a lot more creative and think of better ideas when I actually am working.
Yeah.
Rather than like work myself to the bone and then just being drained and not being able to like think creatively and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
which
that
is-
also helps me switch off because I'm like, I'll be better at work if I actually do.
Yeah. And like those things are important, especially in like the media industry as well. Like in that you need to be like you need to be able to think of ideas.
Yeah.
That's literally
That's
it.
the industry.
Like if you can't think of ideas, like
Then you're kind of screwed.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is really important because I find that all the time, like in marketing and any kind of somewhat creative industry.
Yeah.
You need to be able to come up with ideas.
Yeah.
So whatever you can do to like be able to kind of recharge and get into that headspace
No, totally.
is really important. That was a nice little segue into moving forward. And where do you see missing perspectives in the next few years?
We don't really have a big like 5-year plan because I think we like a year and a half ago I thought would be like a tech company just focusing on the app. So it's been like kind of following the wind a bit and just following what's working for us and what's not. Like e.g., we couldn't have predicted that sport will become like our biggest vertical with like a show and stuff like that. So I think it's just like seeing where we go. Like we honestly don't really have a plan. Like obviously like would love to grow.
Yeah.
But I think one thing I'm not fussed on is like the fast scaling anymore. Like I think just like growing slowly but like well is working better for us than like doing a venture capital raise and like stuff like that.
That's cool. I guess a bit more on like maybe the sport too. And did you always like, was that a surprise to see that as like your most popular vertical?
Yeah, but particularly like what I find really interesting is that sports journalism has, I think it's the lowest female representation, which is why it's so funny. It's our main vertical. And it all started during the Women's World Cup. Like that's when we started reporting really early and like getting noticed by brands. And then from there, we launched our women's sports show. And then, yeah, now it's on TV, which is crazy. Like we could literally never have thought of that happening.
Yeah.
And it's something that we're definitely focusing on at the moment. But even just like entertainment, like we never thought we'd really do pop culture either. But bringing on new team members who like they love doing that kind of stuff, that's been doing really well. Then we went to like Canberra for the budget. So we've been doing a lot of political stuff too. So it's just like seeing what does well. But it's funny that the verticals that have been doing the best have been the ones with the lowest female representation. So I think it's an example of where like young women are reporting on it. The audience is actually there.
Yeah.
They just haven't been catered to.
Yeah. That's so interesting. Because maybe a lot of this, some of the success that you've experienced has been a little bit unpredictable or it's been a bit unexpected. How do you like personally define success for Missing Perspectives?
Oh.
Is it like impact, reach, growth,
I mean, like
or?
Impact, I would say like the mission, it would be the impact and like platforming young female reporters. And a lot of the reporters we've worked with have gone on to work for like major newsrooms. But I would say success for us would definitely be growing. Growing our team, like growing our partnerships and stuff like that would be the honest answer. But I think that would be the same for like any startup.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that leads me nicely to my next question is like, are you, and I probably kind of already know the answer I would just say, but are you focused on scaling or are you prioritizing more of a lifestyle business?
I would say like growing, but also like having a life.
Yeah. Fair.
Because I'm like, I also want to like enjoy the age and like life stage where I'm at now before kids too.
Yeah.
So I think it's balancing like making sure the company is growing, but also spending time with family and like,
Yeah.
because I think it was like one Christmas, like last year or the year before, where I was looking around and I'm like, I have not caught up with anyone properly in like so long. And just like, I think the trap that you fall into is like when you're really busy, you catch up with people, but you're not fully present. It's like
Yeah.
you're thinking about work. Like I actually couldn't switch off. So I think success to me is like growing the company, but also maintaining my life and not burning out.
Yeah.
Whereas like early on, it was full on like scaling and
Yeah.
selling and like stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So taking that time to
Yeah.
like be present and also maybe like
Not be burnt to the ground.
yeah. Nobody wants that.
Nobody.
We've heard so much about your career and kind of how Missing Perspectives has evolved. I would love to know, do you have any advice for someone who wants to start kind of a mission-driven business, who might be listening and they want to champion some specific group or some voices or, yeah, they're interested? What would you say?
I would say like the big one is it doesn't have to be perfect to just get it out there. Like for me, I just literally made the blog and like posted online.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of spread by word of mouth and like people caught wind of it and like started getting coffees. Whereas a lot of people wait until the product or like the organization is like fully set up and perfect and ready to go. So I would say just like get it out there.
Yeah.
Don't be scared to launch it. Like the hardest thing you can do is like actually launch it. Like anyone can have an idea, but like actually doing it is the hardest bit.
Yeah.
And also just like I tell everyone, the best investment you can make is in LinkedIn Premium. Like being able to cold message people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
It's like $20 a month. So worth it.
Yeah. Just do the, yeah, I think like that's what I've noticed by talking to everyone and kind of on throughout this season of the podcast. It's like I think people build things up in their head and they make it seem like this like really big thing or of like, oh, I need to do this and XYZ until it's perfect or until this. But sometimes like you just got to do it.
Just get it, even if it's scrappy.
Yeah.
Just
And then
get
you
it
can
out there.
fix it later.
Totally.
What advice do you have for founders who, when it comes to setting boundaries and protecting their mental health? Because I think like you were saying in the early days, like the business was everything, right? And you definitely burnt yourself out. But if like, I guess, would you do things differently? And do you have like advice for like your past self?
I mean, it's so hard because I think maybe in the early days, we did have to show up for everything.
Yeah.
Because like we didn't have the connections and like brands didn't know who we were. It would probably be like figure out the boundaries that you need and like learn the triggers for things that will tip you over the edge. Like for me, it took me a long time to realize that it was working on the weekend that was draining me. So I think it's just like figuring out what works for you. But also like you might not realize that you're burning out. Like you only realize like once you're burnt out. So I guess like trying to learn what the red flags are for you. But like everyone is so different.
Yeah.
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 And exercise is important.
Yeah. Well, I like what you said earlier about like doing all the self-care before you burn out.
Yeah.
Not doing that once you burn out.
Literally. Nimbus sauna is the love of my life. Yeah. The one in Neutral Bay.
Yeah.
Like I just bought like a 40 pack and we'll try and go like every week.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also like if I start very early now, I'll finish early. Whereas I used to fall into the trap of like starting at 7 and then just working until like 8.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm a lot stricter.
Yeah.
Because I know I'll burn out.
Yeah, that's true. Hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my last question for you is where can our listeners find you, your book, and also Missing Perspectives?
Oh my God.
Give us the lowdown.
Instagram is like our main platform. So at Missing Perspectives, I'm at Phoebe Saintilan, and then the book is being published by Penguin. So you can find it on the Penguin website or at every bookstore.
Do you have a
At Amazon.
date for the
4th of November. So Melbourne Cup Day, not ideal. But then I'm like, who watches Melbourne Cup?
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And up to the cup.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for your time
Thank
today.
you for having me.
It was awesome. Great. I can't wait to read the book.
I'll get you a copy.
Thank you. Thank you so much to Phoebe for joining us on today's episode of the Anti-Work podcast. And thank you for tuning in. This show is produced by Centennial World Podcast Network. We'll be back next week with more conversations on work, play, and everything in between.